Okay, so this is a fair question. You're saying I didn't tackle the question head on, like I didn't answer it directly. And I guess the core of the question is whether or not I agree with changing characters from the past, classic characters, from comic books. The answer is yeah, why not? I think all art is mutable. I think you should be able to change anything and everything in the world of art because that creates a dialogue, it creates discussion, and sometimes you come up with like great changes to characters and storylines that end up paying off really big later on. There's plenty of examples of this, but this is a short, so I can't go through those. The one example I will use in defense of my position on this is characters like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. This is a character that has been perpetually the same age, roughly within 10 years of each other, over the last 70 years. We've seen him in high school multiple times. We've seen him in college multiple times. We've seen slight variations on his origin story over the years. And so there's core things about Peter Parker that have changed depending on which decade you started reading Spider-Man comics. So if we were to take all of that at face value, he would be in his 80s swinging around as Spider-Man with many, many decades of him being in high school and also being in college, being married. There's different storylines that have happened over the years that conflict with each other. So even some of the things that we consider to be core components of characters have been changed or shifted over the years, and most people don't have an issue with that. Like, for example, looking back at Spider-Man, which era of Spider-Man do you consider to be canon when it comes to his high school years? Which era? Which decade? Which decade do you consider to be canon for his college years? Like, how do you determine that? It's going to be different for every single person. And yes, there are subtle changes to the character that have happened during those runs. They weren't writing the same character from the 60s and the 90s. They were different characters with slightly different personalities. The core stuff is so basic. It really is. It's so basic that at what point do you decide you can no longer change a story or change a character? Characters evolve over time. They make decisions that affect them as characters. So you're telling me there should be a certain point where it's like, this is where we stop. No more character progression, no more changes. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think it's fair to have your favorite version of a character, your favorite era of a character, your favorite story from a character. But I think to say that characters cannot be changed, there can't be fundamental changes to things that characters do over time is kind of gatekeeping, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me considering we've already seen that done to classic characters and nobody has an issue with it. I don't mean nobody. Like, there's probably some people that have issues with it, but the majority of people don't have an issue with it. So to answer the question, I think it's absolutely okay for a writer and an artist to come in and take their own spin on a character and change things about a character if they want to. And if the editors think that it works, they can move forward with it. And if not, they can call it an Elseworld story and forget about it, or retcon it, or change it. All those things are possible. These are comic books.